Evening, everybody. We're late even for us, right? Start the show 2-3 hours later than normal and still go long. Anyways, welcome to What's on Joe Mind. We're a fan cast about the world of G.I. Joe. Thanks for hanging in at the Superstation as the Braves fought through their extra inning debacle. I'm your host, Mike Irizarry. How's everybody doing? That's your cue.
Do I talk now?
Yes.
Fabulous.
I thought you were talking to the people at home. I just thought you were letting the people know that they have a chance to talk to their YouTube screens right now, and then we'll respond like, well, how are you doing?
No, believe me.
That's great. Like a little Dora the Explorer action happening.
Yeah, no. Our live fans understand how the show works because they've seen previous episodes, right?
I am not familiar with this.
Wait, this is on the internet?
Yeah.
Isn't the internet just a collection of tubes?
It is.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
okay.
bad.
Well,
but
hold on. Let me go put my hairpiece on.
Right. Both of them.
Yeah. I roll a merkin. You deal with that.
I
almost called it a gherkin just now, so I'm glad you stepped in with the reference a lot quicker.
Well, the merkin is for the gherkin, so that's not.
Yeah. Well, I only carry a gherkin when it's wrapped in tin foil and I'm taking an airplane.
Fair enough. Mike, to be fair, men of a certain age.
Right. Exactly. Anyways, welcome to this special West Coast intensive episode of What's on Joe Mind. We had the ability to talk to some California guys, and I decided, hey, you know what? We have a lot of fans too that are out on the West Coast, and even parts beyond, out in the Pacific, in Hawaii, in Alaska, and parts beyond. Let's make it a little easier for them to watch live because we actually have the opportunity. Racktime Rob tonight had a school function, so he wasn't going to be a part of the show anyway, which means we can go completely after his bedtime.
That's good. My bedtime is considerably later than my 7-year-old's.
Right.
She's
bedtime's like 2 hours ago. We go to bed at 6.
That's because you're old.
I don't know. You're technically 3 months older.
I mean, sure, but I'm the one staying up late.
Speaking as the baby of this show, wah.
We can always mute Ray. That's the best part. This is going to make us a heck of a lot more enjoyable than Ray's other.
As the young guy, he's just the whole episode. He's just going to stump for how cool Eco Warriors were.
Right. Just going on and on about Sigma 6.
Yeah.
I would love to. Can we do 3 hours on Sigma 6 right now? Because on Knowing Is Half the Podcast, we just finished Sigma 6.
I'm sorry.
And you know what? It's I can't say it's fine. It's not great, but there are moments. We actually got teased with a very good episode, like 3 from the end. And it haunts me to know that like there was actually potential. It wasn't a lost cause. It just went the wrong way. It was great. It was great seeing the old characters back again, though. I'll say that.
I think it started poorly, and then they just kept trying to course correct, and it just felt like one of those network interference kind of shows where they just weren't able to separate the wheat from the chaff fast enough.
I got real worried because I found out as we were watching it as a show that Sigma 6 got canceled something like 6 episodes into season 2, and which means that there's 13 total. And then the 7th episode after they were canceled was a clips show. It was like hey, do you remember when we did this? And I was like, oh no, are they going full Deke era and just ending with 7 straight clips episodes of what we just saw? No, they didn't, to my sadness, because that would have been absolutely incredible. And they ended with kind of like a decent arc at the very end. And I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know what we're doing here.
Josiah Alcorn asks, let's see if Ray is a better behaved guest on What's on Joe Mind than Mike was on Who Would Win.
Thank you. Thank you for saying we need to talk about Mike going past his boundaries on the Who Would Win show.
Mike, what did you do? What did you do, Mike?
I don't even know what he's talking about at this point. I was very well behaved on the Who Would Win show. It was knowing as half the podcast where I was an asshole. That's the difference. So that's the hairs I will split.
Well, there's a thing. There's a thing that comes with familiarity. And when we have like first-time judges on Who Would Win, they were generally on their best behavior. They don't know about us. We don't know about them. Everybody's trying to just like do the thing. And Mike came on both shows, Who Would Win and Knowing Is Half the Podcast, with a deep familiarity of me. And he said, you know what? I don't got to prove nothing to nobody. I'm here to take Ray down 5 pegs, and I'm going to use every breath I have to do it.
Doesn't sound like Mike at all.
Right. Now, in fairness.
Also, Ray, it sounds like you're a slow learner.
Right.
I have never been accused of being quick
That's two bad choices.
Yeah.
In fairness, the second time I was on Who Would Win, I knew nothing about the combatants, and I deemed Ray the winner.
That's how. Wait, who are the combatants in that episode? Obviously, you remember because I'm drawing a blank. I did a lot of them.
I know you've done a few, and like I said, it was two video game guys that I didn't know anything about. Right.
Well, you're gonna get me in a video game battle. You better give me the win, or your credibility goes right out the window.
Look, man, you had a case. You stuck to it. It made sense. I went Staccanus. In the first one, you were kind of stuck, man. That first one was Wonder Woman against Marvel's Captain Marvel, and that
was a tough one. Yeah,
I mean, not really.
I felt like I did a good job with that one, but
I think you did a better job, but you had a tougher road to hoe.
I mean, the answer's Diana. Wonder Woman wins, right?
Right.
Because she just spikes Captain Marvel's coffee with booze, and Captain Marvel can't deal with it.
I'm telling you, once we go,
I'm just saying that's how you win.
Things change. Things change when we go full Super Saiyan. That's all I'm trying to say.
So, anyways, now that we've covered a topic that
was 8 minutes for just the introduction. This is going to be the floppiest show since I had Taco Bell last.
8 minutes that's a tight intro for us, man.
All right, I can keep going then.
Yeah, I haven't even started tangents.
Right? Joe
Wonder Woman was at least on point. What's up, buddy?
Joe Slepsky is on this program.
Yeah, strap it in.
I mean, this is the first time we're really bringing him in the conversation is at the 8-minute mark. I don't think you quite know what you're in for.
I can blather. I can palaver and blather.
Right. Diana Davis, a veteran of such campaigns. Ray, 8 minutes is hyperspeed. Yes.
Oh, great.
It truly is.
You can tell I don't listen as much as perhaps I should. Joe still got his moment. I'll talk about this in a sec because I learned some G.I. Joe news from Mike. I got to talk to Mike more often because he ruins my dreams around G.I. Joe better than anyone I've ever known.
Simply by telling him what's going on. Like, I'm not making stuff up. Yeah, it's just Ray kind of living in a bubble, and I just come along and inadvertently burst it.
What's the sad news? What's the sad news? What am I missing?
This was the fact that the board game G.I. Joe Mission Critical about a month ago got discontinued.
I didn't know that.
Thank you.
Oh, I love that game.
I love that game. I have every piece of it.
Well, there's 2 new miniature games coming out, so I assumed that they were discontinued. I did assume that, but I didn't hear that it was official.
Yeah.
Again, we covered that one about a month ago on this very program.
This show airs weekly?
Yes.
Huh.
This is a show?
Well, more or less.
Huh. I thought this was Ray, I thought this was like a chat line, like call the chat line and talk to your friends. Hey, everybody.
I'll be honest, I really thought it was like 1-900 call Santa.
It's more like the old WCW line where Mean Gene Okerlund gives you all the inside poop.
Oh, that's the best. Yeah.
Man. Yeah, I
That's what
always
it
wanted
is.
to call one of those. Like, I'm honestly curious what happened when you called the Wrestling 1-900 line back in like 1991.
Ooh.
I'm sure it was nothing, and it was purely designed to keep you hooked for like, it would be like nothing, nothing, nothing. And then with like 52 seconds to go, they throw you a quick cliffhanger to keep you on one more minute. And then nothing, nothing, nothing. And they throw you, it's like watching 24. They'll just right at the end, something big happens. So you got to go to the next minute. That's my assumption.
Doug Dello, a regular listener / viewer, extremely well informed.
Yes, I just found this out as well. I will be making a purchase tonight. I was not intending to buy. I believe I'm missing one of the like vehicle packs, like vehicle pack 5, but it's like $3 now. So I feel good, and I'm going to buy some puzzles.
Yeah, I already own all of them. So
see, that
what do I do?
Slapping into my face right now.
What do
Ray's
I do?
missing vehicle pack 5. I'm better. That's what I just heard.
No, it just means I'm foolish.
No, I mean, that's trust me. I mean, look, I meet you with the exception of $3. So
yeah, I'm foolish. I'm a front runner who buys first and saves later.
One day I'm going to play someone other than Sergeant Slaughter in that game, but 2025 will not be that year.
So I ask this as a collection of former Midwesterners and either former Chicagoans or former Catholics. What do we think about this whole Chicago Pope deal?
Yeah, I'm gonna. Look, I'll start. I'll let Joe finish because Joe's got important information on
right
this.
now. For the record, Ray, you are the lapsed Catholic.
That is correct.
From Detroit.
I was raised Catholic. I was an altar boy back in like middle school.
Oh wow!
And thankfully, just nobody worry about me. Nothing happened. That's how I know I was an ugly kid.
Mm. Well, you're also like 6'8".
No, I was small back then. Nobody believes me. I am a giant now. I am a massive ogre of a human being, but I didn't start growing until I was 18, 19 years old, post high school. Oh, wow. I grew about 6 inches my freshman year of college. I think I drank a lot of milk or something. I don't know. It didn't kick in till then. I was particularly unathletic. I had poor size. And, thankfully didn't get picked on as much as I did in middle school. I mean, if we're going to have therapy night tonight. And, but by the end of high school, things were fine. But then I grew like 6 inches. I came back a 6'4" monster, to the Thanksgiving tackle football game that we played at the local high school with all the neighborhood kids every year. And everybody was like, God dang, what happened to you? I say, I'm big now and you're in trouble.
Right. Look, man, I grew about 2 inches after high school. And all I know is that those first 2 years of college, my knees hurt all the time. Oh, so I can only imagine what 6 inches of additional height after the age of 18 did to your joints.
No, look, my joints are terrible. I don't blame the growth spurt. I blame the professional wrestling. That's what I blame. That'll do a number on your knees and back. And trust me, I was feeling it today more so than usual. But these things happen, even as I was doing the craziness back in the day, I thought to myself, you know what? When you're in your 40s and you're on the What's on Joe Mind podcast in 2025, that's the day it's really going to bother you.
Yeah. That's how it usually works for me.
I had prescience, but to be fair, back then this show was still on the air. So
yeah, we were getting started back then.
Yeah. But anyway, the Pope. We're talking about the Pope, and I have no particular opinion on the Pope. I know he's a White Sox fan, which the joke that everybody had their Pope joke, right? Their Chicago Pope joke, and it was, he's the Pope and he liked the White Sox. He must just be a fan of losing organizations. That was my bit. Joe, I know you got thoughts.
Now, Joe, you are not a lapsed Catholic, but you are a former Chicagoan for the folks.
I'm always a Chicagoan. I'm a Chicagoan in exile currly.
It's like being a Marine.
Yeah. And it's nice to see a Pope that's fully croissant. Of course, he's a White Sox fan. Jesus also hung out with the criminals and the whores. So it makes sense that he'd be a White Sox fan. And, it's probably the first Pope that's drank Malort.
Probably the first Pope that likes Malort.
Yeah, well, when he blesses it, it becomes wine. That's really how it works. Yeah, and he's South Side, and I that's where I'm from, and so there's we got a lot of looking up. My Lutheran mother was enamored by it, and she also Lutheran, not Catholic, but was just so happy the Pope's from Chicago, and we need all the help we can get. We just do. We just do. Chicago's the greatest city in the world, and there's going to be a lot of eyeballs on it now. So, and there's a good chance that when he was coming up, he watched G.I. Joe and WGN Channel 9, the Superstation. Just throwing that out there. He probably watched Bozo give away G.I. Joe toys during the grand prize game, just like we did.
Do we know that this Pope never appeared as an audience member on the Bozo the Clown show? Because there's a very legitimate possibility he did.
He could have. I was on that when I was a little kid. My sister is 3 years older than me. My mother put in a request for tickets when my sister was born, and we were on the show when my sister was 8 or 9 years old. That's how long it took to get tickets for this is back in the day. That's how long it took to get tickets. Yeah, it took like 9 years to get to the line for Bozo tickets.
See, we had WGN when I was a kid in Detroit. That was one of the normal cable channels on the standard package. So I watched a lot of Cubs games when I came home from school, and I watched a lot of Bozo the Clown, I believe in the mornings before school. And I think it was in the mornings, at least when I saw it. And I remember being insanely jealous of the kids on the Bozo the Clown show, because I'm like, I can throw a rubber ball into a plastic cup from 1 foot away.
Yeah, I know. It's harder than you think.
I could do that. It's just a little
harder than you think.
A little twisty spin. I am arrogant and proud. I can do it, Joe.
Phil Donnelly. Yeah, he's 69. Sorry, I don't mean to jump on his mic, but one, he would have grown up. He would have grown up with the 12-inch GI Joe first of all. So and we are a podcast collection of 40-year-old men who still watch GI Joe. You think he wasn't curious and hit play and hit the clicker or turn the dial to Channel 9? The Pope seen GI Joe and he watched it on Channel 9.
Tell you this: the Pope knows who Cobra Commander is. I will bet my life on it.
100%. 100%. 100%. And he probably can visually recognize Snake Eyes. I'm not saying he knows his name, but he probably looks at him and goes, "Oh yeah, that guy."
The Pope understands that knowing is half the battle. So that's
he really does. He really does.
My first thought was that it's amazing to me that the city of Chicago produced a Pope before it produced a quarterback that could throw for 4,000 yards.
Well, that's true. Right. That's true. But the reason is the Chicago weather. It really just prevents a quarterback from having a solid season.
You keep telling yourself that, Joe.
Yeah. Although we do think also, we feel like the Bears gave up their only son, Steve McMichael, in order to get the Catholic Pope from Chicago. So we've given our son to heaven, and now we get the Catholic Pope. So good things are in for the Bears. Also, the Bears' new stadium will just be, it won't be on the lakefront. It'll just be on Lake Michigan.
Right.
It'll just float on Lake Michigan, just like Jesus did.
World Stadium?
Yeah, just like Jesus. It'll be blessed. So they won't have to worry about McCormick Place. They won't have to worry about the drive. They just put the stadium on the water and everything will be great.
If you thought you got lake effect, snow affecting games before, imagine if your stadium is on the actual lake.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
It's going to be outstanding.
Amazing. Listen, the next time there's some kind of like miracle kick or catch, or whatever, the wind jostles something, it'll happen. Right. They'll be like, "Oh, that was the Pope."
Right. I just that gaggle of fans that's earned some fame dressing as Mike Ditka for Bears home games. I wonder if they're going to show up dressed as the Pope this year.
First of all, they're absolutely going to be dressed up as the Pope. They're going to some enterprising person is going to do a papal hat with the Bears logo stuff. That's absolutely going to be in the stand.
I think they did it before there was a Pope. Quite honestly,
they easily could have. SNL needs to do a Superfans Pope episode. You've got Mike Myers that's already showing up lately, being Elon Musk. You can get Bob Smigel in. I know drag George went out of retirement, and so they need to do a Pope Superfan. I'm all about it.
Pope.
My God. And that's
Pope Southside the first.
That's an intro segment on What's on Joe Mind.
Intro segments. There you go.
You know, if you like what you see, and I can't for the life of me imagine why you would, but be sure to hit those buttons that are down there in the big box around the middle of the screen there underneath Joe Slepsky. The like and subscribe. Do those cool things. They really help us out. We really appreciate it. If you're catching us on the Facebook tonight, be sure you give us some kind of a reaction. Give us a thumbs up. Give us a heart. Give us a little huggy guy. We love little huggy guy. And I hate asking, but if I don't ask, nobody ever does it. So there. Just click the buttons. About 30% of you every week are not subscribed. You might as well just subscribe.
What are you doing?
That algorithm is just going to continue to recommend us to you for the rest of your natural life and beyond.
Mike, never be afraid to ask for a hug. Never be afraid to ask for a hug. Sometimes we just need hugs, and that's nothing wrong with that. From strangers, don't do it. That's weird. But from friends, people who know you, people who are engaged in conversation from you, get a hug. It makes you
I honestly find it easier to do with strangers than to do people I've known for a decade.
Right,
okay.
Right. It's funnier to walk up to strangers and be like, "Hey, bring it in. Come on."
If I meet someone for the first time, like they've come to my party, they're getting a hug. Not anybody I've known for 20, 30 years, just the new people, because it's less weird somehow.
Well, there's less sexual tension there.
There's considerably more.
20 years worth of passion just waiting to be ignited. I get it. It makes sense to me.
No, it's there's something in me that just unlocks.
It's time for the news. Oh, wow. I am lagging hard tonight. I apologize.
I mean, got to say something there.
Right? Just waiting for my screen to clear up, but just waiting. Anyways. Joe Slepsky, you going to do the honors tonight?
Of
you going to be the doot man?
The doot that guy?
That guy.
I'll do it.
All right.
I'll be your doot guy.
It's your time, man. I can't ask Ray, right? Look at Ray. He doesn't even understand. He's confused.
I don't know what's happening when you say doot. I think you need me to.
I'll be your Michael Winslow.
First news item. Come on, screen. There we go. Anyways, Atomic Arcade this week. That is the video game developers that are producing the Snake Eyes game that is being graced by the lead writing of former comic scribe Brandon Jerwa. Released this advanced image of the back of Snake Eyes' arm as a teaser this week. It's the first image of any kind we've seen in regards to this Snake Eyes game. It's been going, development's been going for a couple of years now. So it's encouraging that we're still humming along. And yeah, I guess that's all there is to say about.
Wait, are we sure those are game textures? That looks like a Sideshow miniature to me.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's possible.
Like, keep it real. That's a painted Sideshow miniature. I know those people. I met them through my miniature days about 5 lives ago. And that does not, and I know video games a little bit, and that does not look like a video game texture to me. I'm just putting it out there. That's a statue from Sideshow Miniatures.
But
anyway, so Ray doesn't believe.
It could also just be a still from a cutscene. You know, it could be overly rendered, you know, not in-game graphics.
Right. It's possible, but I mean, like, I know what to look for. And I'm going to deny both of you right now and say this is guaranteed a statuette, not in-game footage. I'll say.
Turns out it's an in-game statuette that you can earn as an extra.
No, if they do that, then F me sideways. Yeah. No, you know what? They double swerved me there like they're Vince Russo.
That moves tickets, bro. Anyways.
So it doesn't.
So have you been waiting for Atomic Arcade like the rest of us? Be sure to leave your comments down below. Let us know what you think about Snake Eyes' elbow. I have to admit, I was a little let down in that I got a press release with this in the mail, in my email, and was kind of like, hey, this is great. And then, scrolled down and saw the image and was like, oh, I was kind of hoping we'd at least see Snake Eyes' head. Something.
Well, you see the back. You see the back of his head. It looks like. Yeah, it looks like
kinda.
right. And then and I'll tell you what it does tell us though. It tells us that there will be blood in the game, which is something. Like they've done a lot of Wolverine games where sometimes they don't show the graphic blood and sometimes they do, and so that's good. We're getting blood in a G.I. Joe game.
Yeah, I do think that this is not actual gameplay, like you said. I have a feeling that this is an image from either a cutscene or a still shot or something.
Probably, But I tell you, cutscenes. I mean, if you've seen this stuff from Grand Theft Auto 6 that just dropped this week, the valley between cutscenes and in-game footage is getting smaller and smaller and smaller.
True.
Especially, I don't know if have they announced if they're doing it for current gen platforms or is this PC or is this for next gen? Because if this takes a little while longer, it'll be on PS6 era, and that valley will be very, very small.
They would be very foolish to put this on next-gen consoles only. There's no way people in the video game industry in 2025 are, even if your game is coming out 2 years from now, you're putting it on PS5 and improving it for PS6. You're not focused on the new hardware because no one's going to own it. In my opinion.
I like how his throwaway bit at the end is even louder than what he says beforehand.
Look, I work in the video game industry, and I have for the last 8 years. I know something.
And Ray, those are excellent skins for Doodle Jump, but this is different.
Listen, my work in Doodle Jump won 3 awards, Mike. And I'm not going to have you besmirch it on the What's on Joe Mind late night podcast. Thank you.
I love Doodle Jump, even after all these years.
Wait till you hear about what I did in Flappy Bird.
Oh, well. Just leave Fruit Ninja alone, man. It's perfect as is.
Yeah, I was rejected at Fruit Ninja.
But because as Brandon himself has alluded to in his various social media posts, it's always been, we've known for a while it's going to be an adult type game, but even then I don't think they're going to go overboard with gore in a G.I. Joe game. It's still a toy property, so I think something like this that acknowledges that exists is one thing, as opposed to just I think some folks out there are expecting real blood spray, and I don't think that's going to happen either.
Right. There's blood all over his sword. What are you talking about?
Right.
Yeah, that's what you're saying.
That didn't come from a snow cone machine.
Right, but it's a static image of blood on a sword. That's different than the sword actively going through some dude.
Look at that pattern. What do you mean? That pattern was made through running a guy through or hacking an artery. That is a violent sword.
Right. But we're not seeing it being violent.
Okay,
here.
Yeah, that's fair. It's a static.
We are seeing the aftermath of the violence.
Okay, you know what? I concede.
And I just don't think in actual gameplay we're going to necessarily see realistic type blood. I think
I don't know how you get that blood on that sword without arterial spray. Is all I'm trying to say. Here's the deal. I think it's going to be more like the Wolverine game that's coming out, and less like the Spider-Man game that came out, right? The Spider-Man game, they're both, I haven't played Wolverine, it's not out yet. Both come from kind of the same ideas, but Wolverine's going to be very like M-rated. We're going to go for it, make the violence. And the Spider-Man was much more kid-friendly of a game. And I'm just going to say, I think we're going to lean a little more. Let's face it, the G.I. Joe fans are 40 and above. They want the violence. They don't want the gore, but they want the violence. So I don't think he's going to be fighting robots the whole time is what I'm trying to say.
No. You're right there, Ray. Absolutely. No, we're spot you that one.
Hashtag Ray is right. Thank you.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but
I'm just paraphrasing.
I mean, if you were paraphrasing, it would be, hashtag Ray misunderstood and now came back around when we described it to him the third time.
It really depends what show we're talking about, honestly.
I mean, let's be real. If you were paraphrasing, this conversation would have ended 3 minutes ago.
We don't do that here.
Maximum verbosity.
Next news item.
Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
Hey, earlier today, our friends at Hiya Toys released some images of their 1/18th exquisite Outback figure, which is another pre-order. Let's get on up for pre-orders. If you head over to your Hiya retailer, which I know for us here in the States, it's not Hiya Toys, but we've published that list before, and I'm sure it's somewhere. I'll find it later. I don't know. But we're expecting this one spring 2026. Expect, fingers crossed, it'll be around $30. I got a feeling that ain't necessarily going to play out that way.
If you pre-order it now, do you avoid the tariffs?
I
just had my first GameFound / Kickstarter board game come at me well after when I paid for it and said, hey, more money, tariffs.
Right.
And it's going to keep happening, and that's a problem.
Right. Have you been in on the Hiya Toys figures at all?
I've admired them from afar, but my wallet has stopped me just because it would be just another, gotta catch them all kind of a situation for me. But I do admire them. They are amazing.
Right. They look cool. They're just 4-inch versions of what we're getting in classified. I have Beachhead. That was what I was.
Of course you do.
On the screen there, but that's it.
Right.
No, it's beautiful. Look, this is an amazing figure. I'm not an Outback fan per se, but I see this guy and I'm like, I mean, yeah. This guy's great.
I wonder if they gave any thought to giving him like a special grenade. I just had this thought and call it a bloomin' onion. I saw that laugh, Mike. I saw that laugh. I saw it.
It was definitely a chortle.
If Captain Gridiron can get custom made footballs, Outback can absolutely get some kind of blooming onion looking grenade.
Well, why don't they put him with like at that point like a toy for girls, like like a small one, like a shrimpy Barbie?
It would be a grenade shaped like an onion.
Yeah,
and
it's like like
it would shoot all the little peels off into just a thing. Yeah,
and as the Cobra was dying, they'd be like, "Oh, but it tastes so good." And then right. The dipping sauce would be the Cobra blood, like, "Oh, I'm gonna die, but I'm gonna die deliciously."
Oh, this horseradish sauce is the best.
Yeah, right.
My wife told me the other day she's never had a bloomin' onion before.
Really?
And I said, that's a shame because you'll never have one. We're never going to Outback Steakhouse.
I mean, they're
in
not.
My house, bloomin' onions a sex move in my house.
They're not that bad, right? They're just
no. I enjoy them greatly, but if I'm going to go out for a steakhouse, I'm not going to Outback.
I'm just saying.
Sorry,
man.
People who own shares of Outback Steakhouse. I've come for you, and it's time. Your day in the sun is over.
Oh, I mean, sometimes it's if you want a steak and it's just you don't want to spend that much money, it's not the worst place you can go.
Or if you want to get your dreadnought on, you just want to feel like a dreadnought, go down under, mate. To get your Outback on.
That's fair. I'll go to one when I visit Australia. They're very authentic there, is my
in Australia they just call it a steakhouse.
Right.
Oh man. How would I know?
And then they hang a bunch of American themed knickknacks off the walls.
Honestly, that might be kind of cool.
As opposed to boomerangs and things like that.
They just hang 30-year-old Big Macs off the walls on a fishing line. I would eat there. No, legitimately, I would eat there. If that's what they did, yeah, I'm in.
Diana Davis says that Outback is the Denny's of steakhouses. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes.
But every once in a while, I still go to Denny's for pancakes. So
yeah, I was gonna say Mr. Denny's is just sitting there minding his own business, going like, what the fuck did I do?
Denny's is here to catch strays.
I'm just providing a good meal to drunks at 2 a.m. Like what?
Right.
You're in LA. Joe, you can go to Norm's. You can go to IHOP. Why are you going to Denny's?
Oh, sure. Go anywhere.
Firefly hasn't been to Outback since they stopped serving lamb, which is an interesting take.
Yo,
Also, bold of Firefly, who's normally like very cavalier about his appearance, to show up in the What's on Joe Mind chat. So that's big news. That's a big celebrity to have here.
I didn't know they
Jake,
served lamb.
they clearly they don't.
Wow.
Jake Rose says that everything in Outback tastes like a salt lick. I wonder how Jake knows that.
No, and okay, I could tell you for sure. Yes, Jake is absolutely correct. When I was in high school, we went on a field trip to a museum, like one of these like natural science museums, and they had one of the world's largest salt licks there in one of the front rooms of the museum. Now, I'm not proud of this, but I haven't told this story in about 100 years. But that being said, everybody else kind of filed out to go to the next room. I looked around, there was no security guard. I went over the railing and I licked the giant salt lick because I didn't believe that it was real, and it was real.
Well,
and at that moment, a hunter in his tree stand took a shot at you.
Oh,
right.
man, I wish I could have gotten tranked. It'd probably be the best sleep I would have gotten the next 50 years. The point I'm trying to make is then I had Outback Steakhouse, and I could not tell the difference. Jake, you nailed it.
Andrew Goggins says that Denny's is better than IHOP. I don't know if I'm going that far.
Andrew's allowed to not have taste buds.
No.
He must be from the Midwest. And I'm from the Midwest. Joe's from the Midwest. Mike, lives in the Midwest. I can make fun of the taste buds of the Midwest. Look, we don't know food in the Midwest, and you don't realize that until you leave the Midwest. I'm sorry, everybody.
Speak for yourself. I'm going to say the salt isn't necessarily the taste for me. My blood pressure gets nuts when I get too much salt. I can't do it. I'm older. I'm a big dude. That's my problem with eating a lot of like super salty stuff. Like I get headaches all day. So I can't do it. I'm too old. Play that silly salt game.
I'd rather have the salt and the medication afterwards. Look, I need the good tasting food. It's just, look, I've eaten at Denny's. Look, I've taken my kid to Denny's. Denny's is great. It's not, but there are better choices when you live in better areas with better food. And comparing the pancakes, Denny's pancakes are not as high rising, and they're not as fluffy, and they're not as flavorful. I'm sorry. Compared to IHOP, you're banging a moose there.
Andrew Goggin notes math hole born, then and raised, then 20 plus years in Los Angeles. I said what I said.
Andrew, I'm sorry. Masshole answered my question.
But I'll take IHOP over Denny's any day.
Well, IHOP gives you the bottomless pancakes every once in a while.
Right.
And sometimes that's what you need.
Sometimes that's what you need.
Yeah, that's what you just need.
I'm at a point in my life where bottomless pancakes is the same as the regular stack of pancakes for me. Like I get through the 4 pancakes or whatever, and that's pretty much it. That's the end.
Yeah, I've been disappointed in myself the last few times I've tried that. Yeah, you're right.
Can I tell you, my buffet game is weak as hell right now. I used to be a 7-8 plate superstar at the buffet. Now I get to 3, and I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know that I can keep going. And it upsets me because I haven't lost any weight.
Right. It's just all the previous trips still haven't left your system.
Yeah, but they didn't leave my system before. It's just, I just slow down quicker. Guys, old age comes for all of us.
Yeah.
Especially at the buffet.
Yeah, that's really the first place where it starts to affect you.
Golden Corral employees don't even look at me the same anymore. I walk in and they just avert their eyes. They're like, you used to be somebody.
But how does all this stack up against the Red Rocket chain? That's the thing. The Red Rocket burger chain.
Look,
that Roblox auntie ran.
Oh,
you know,
you don't need to explain it to this crowd.
What's the salt? I know. I'm just saying. Well, the one because that's the thing though. It's Red Robin. That's what I'm thinking of. I always get confused every time I see that commercial.
Red Robin is great. Bottomless fries. I get 3 baskets every time. No, Red Rocket is one of my favorite G.I. Joe episodes, and it's one of the early ones because there are people who legitimately get bombed out of their gourds and seriously murdered. You can't be sitting
Mhm.
tableside at the window of the Red Rocket, have a missile go off 2 feet on the outside. You get blown across. Those people are dead. We don't talk about it, but it's one of the few, and I thought there would be more original G.I. Joe episodes where there was just straight up murder we don't talk about.
Yeah, I always find it interesting or funny that like a lot of times some of the episodes that we all love, like I agree, Red Rocket's totally like that, Satellite Down, Zartan. It's because they were the early ones that got the most play because they started going in a rerun rotation the most, and they were on the VHSs first. So like those early ones have always embedded in our head. I just think that's such a neat little like shared favorite thing that we all know those early ones like by the like the back of our hands kind of thing. I think that's cool.
Okay, hold on, because I see the chat room has redeemed themselves. Andrew is talking about 4 and 20, and he is absolutely correct. So, Andrew, you have gained esteem back in my eyes again. Greg is over there talking about Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. I'm going to say it right now. Very overrated. Go Gus. Gus's Fried Chicken just came to Southern California. You got to do Gus's. If you don't know, now you know. And Diana Davis talking about Cece's. Cece's and BB's are the 2 best breakfast spots here in Los Angeles, and that's a hill I will gladly die on.
All right. It occurs to me how much of our regular audience is out in your part of the world.
That's because to be a fan of G.I. Joe in the year 2025, you have to have a little bit of money. And that means you probably already live in Los Angeles.
Anyways, I always my favorite part of Red Rocket's Glare is that it's actually a pretty solid episode until there's kind of a spot 2 minutes from the end. We're like, oh crap, we're out of time. We got to end this. And Roadblock and the twins fly off on a missile, and then Flint shoots the top of the missile off with another missile. Nobody's dead at the end.
Wonderful.
I mean, it's just one of those.
Right.
It is the express ending to end all express endings on what was a pretty solid, well-paced episode to that point. Just goes completely off the rails, batshit crazy at the end of that one. But
I'm going to say I have a 7-year-old, and so that episode is the Descendants 4 of endings. And that's only funny to me. If one person gets it, I'm happy.
All right. It's not going to be me.
Wait, okay, if you have not, okay, listen, I'm going to derail everything because that's what I do. If you do not watch the Disney's Descendants movies on Disney Plus, that's fine. But you should check out Descendants 3 because it goes harder and than any movie that it has any right to. And it's one of the greatest film experiences I've had since Endgame, quite honestly.
Okay.
I'm out. I can't be on screen for that.
No, you're here for me. Somebody in the chat room who has kids, back me up because I was shocked at how hard that movie goes, the topics that movie chooses to deal with. This is a movie about the children of the Disney villains from the animated films living in a new society of good people because they all got walled off on an island. And I was not expecting the songs to be that good. I was not expecting the topics to be that good. Somebody out there, Philip Donnelly, I don't care. You just don't know. That's the answer. Descendants 3 goes hard, and if you give it a chance, you will love it.
Phil just threw up in his mouth a little bit for the folks listening on audio only.
I'm not one to go hard for things my 7-year-old loves, but Outback would be a fan of Descendants 3. That's all I'm trying to say.
Jake Rose with the money shot. This is an amazing conversation about this figure. We've covered pancakes, and now we're into Disney's Descendants 3. But anyways, hi, 1/18th Exquisite fans. Outback is up for pre-order. Order that wherever you get your Hiya toys. And again, fingers crossed, he'll be around $30. Expect him spring of next year. Next news item.
Was that Super Mario?
Sure. And this one's from right around the time we did our previous episode 2 weeks ago. Iron Studios put out some images of their 1/10 scale Cobra Commander statue. Iron has already shown us images from a statue of Storm Shadow, which is real cool. They did a Flint statue, is real cool. And honestly, this Cobra Commander statue, if you're into statues, looks pretty cool.
The cool part about this statue is it comes with divorce papers.
Right.
Because that's what I would get if I made this purchase, which I desperately want.
It'll set you back $300. That includes a $60 non-refundable deposit for all of you looky-loos that like to change your minds. Joe Slevsky, you're not a statue guy.
I don't have the room for it, but I have a handful of them, and this is awesome. Like, this looks great. Is that fire? Is that naturally illuminated, or is that just the lighting on the image? Like, you know what I mean? Do they put some kind of battery USB thing in there or something?
Honestly, I don't know. I did not. I did the tile for this like a week and a half ago, and I
think it looks great. I think it looks great. Yeah, man. The more G.I. Joe statues, the better. Yeah.
Look, if you look at the picture on the right, the fire is very dark red and very not illuminated, which makes me believe, if I'm reading between the lines, that there is some sort of LED light going on the left side.
Andrew Galgan asks, so how much news have I missed? And honestly, not much. That's the sad part of it. Not much at all.
I was told going into this episode it was a slow news week and that I needed to make some content.
Yeah.
So Descendants 3. No.
There are episodes that we do to try and hook new fans. There are other episodes that we do that are kind of comfort food, and we're just doing it for the fans who are already tuning in. These community type building episodes. This is definitely in the latter.
I can't imagine people watching not riveted right now.
Jake Rose asks, okay, what pizza chain would Cobra Commander eat at? I don't know, Jake. I'll be honest. He seems like a Marcos guy. But I'll say this to try and make Ray Stacanis jealous. My brother came back from his school event tonight with an entire Jets pizza.
Look, as soon as you said you're going to make me jealous, I knew where we were going.
Right.
You're looking at a former Jets Pizza employee. Yeah, I don't mean to brag.
I'm aware.
But back in the 90s, the 1990s, I worked at Jets Pizza off and on for a very long time. And it's the greatest pizza in the entire world. And that's being conservative.
Cobra Commander would actually, I'm going to throw this out there. He would eat pizza of whatever chain until he learned that Serpentor created pizza. Then he would refuse to eat pizza for the rest of his life.
Matt Rubin says that Cobra Commander would eat at Little Caesars, and I kind of like the allegory there. I'll give him that.
I agree. I do agree with that. But once he found out that Serpentor invented pizza, he'd be out.
He would. The thing is, I think Cobra Commander would say that he eats like very fancy, like upscale, high-end pizza from some like actual like hardcore restaurant. Yeah. He's only eating margarita pizza. He's really like flipping about. But then like deep down, he goes back and he's got that, Pizza Hut. In real life, he's just eating the weak stuff. But in public, he's eating like the $200 pizza with the gold flakes on it. You know what I'm saying?
Look, man, it's tough to deny those Pizza Hut breadsticks.
I don't think he'd eaten any of this stuff with grease on it, though. Between the glare on his faceplate and the grease on the mask, I don't want to know but this, but I think he's too vain for that.
The thing is, we know that when he eats is disgusting because people have commented on that many times.
Very true.
The property. So maybe they weren't talking about the way he's eating. Maybe they were talking about the fact that he was eating Pizza Hut.
He was.
Phil Donnelly checking in. Cobra Commander exclusively eats Red Baron microwavable French bread pizza. He can't escape his used car seller origins.
Like, for real, I can't not get behind that. I think there's a lot of accuracy. I think there's a whole like public persona, private persona. Public persona is this very glamorous, very out there, very, I have a lot of money, like Andrew Tate. And then behind the scenes, he has no money at all, and he's eating Red Baron pizza
like Andrew Tate.
Like Andrew Tate. Yeah, exactly.
It's just Hot Pockets all the way.
Well, that you know what? That's actually Hot Pockets and or like pizza rolls or pizza puffs might be the answer. Self-contained, he can put it up under the hood without without it getting everywhere. It might be a pizza puff Totino's kind of a thing.
I will go down that road myself sometimes.
Can I tell you?
Love a good pizza
I
puff.
have 6 pizza rolls left in the bag, which unfortunately means I will never buy pizza rolls again.
Explain that, Ray.
You're never going to heat up just 6 pizza rolls, but you're not going to buy a new bag of pizza rolls because you have a bag of pizza rolls.
Why wouldn't you just buy a new bag of pizza rolls and then take the 6?
What are you, a
make them
goddamn monster?
With like 5 or 6 more from the other bag.
You have a bag of pizza rolls. You can't buy a bag of pizza rolls when you already have one.
I can, and I have, and I will again.
I didn't know what I was signing up for when I came on this show.
Well, what you obviously didn't sign up for is auto ship for pizza rolls because they should be coming every week.
Right. I mean,
that's really
a lot of sense.
That's the right answer. You set up your assembly line of pizza rolls to just always be coming in the house.
If I got 2 bags of pizza rolls, that just means I'm eating pizza rolls more.
Yeah.
Without buying more.
Or maybe invite a friend over and then you can both enjoy it to catch up.
I mean, Ray, is this a problem with the family? Is this blink
I'm
twice
not
if this is a
allowed.
problem.
My family strongly discourages me buying pizza rolls, period. But I definitely am not going to buy pizza rolls if I have a bag of pizza rolls. I may as well buy the Cobra Commander statue and live on the street with it.
Well,
now, question though, pizza rolls. Serious question. Cheese, pepperoni, combination. Where are we going?
Combination.
Joe?
Well, we try to stay vegetarian in this house, so I guess I'd say cheese.
See, combination is where I'm going. But, the pepperoni has its place. Cheese, I have no time for. I'm sorry, Joe. I'm not a vegetarian, though. I'm clearly not.
No, I hear you on that. I do think when you're talking about something that bite size, I think you have to go pepperoni over sausage just because you got to pack as much flavor into that small bite. Sausage at that small scale always disappoints.
Yeah, I'll be honest, not to me. And the entire chat room agrees with me. So I'm going to take some comfort in saying hashtag Ray is right for the second time.
Yeah, there's a lot of combo going on there. I'll actually support this one, Ray.
Thank you. And Jason, you're just being a Naismith. Don't lie to us. Don't lie to us for the fame, Jason.
Jason Reed, welcome to the show. Going pepperoni.
I don't believe you, quite honestly.
And there you go.
A weird thing to lie about, Jason.
Yeah, I think pepperoni is the right answer for that scale.
I'm just mad at you now.
Yeah, it's all right.
You'll get over it.
Yeah.
So will I in about 5 seconds.
Yeah, let me check. I'm good.
Next news item.
There can't be more news.
There's very little. Very little substantive news.
Skipped one?
We skipped one. There we go. Funding now. And for just another couple of days, collecting until May 18.
What is this?
It's the G.I. Joe Real American Hero Field Guide. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to play our Kickstarter anthem.
Awesome.
That's right.
Yeah, I got no notes.
But our friend Carson Metaxas and 3D Joe's putting this one out there. It is going for another couple of days. As you can see there, we've got the 3 volumes. They actually they have funded to the point there was a $36,000 goal. They're well over $200,000, so you may pledge with confidence. They've unlocked the 4th volume and the slipcover to hold all 4. So it's all there. It's on the Kickstarter page. I believe we have it in our big box down below. You can check that out when we're done here tonight because you're running out of time.
Is this like a pricing guide? What is this?
Basically, it's not a pricing guide, Ray. What it is it's a guide for you to identify the various pieces you need to complete your collection for 1982 to 1994. These volumes, they're all maybe 5 inches tall. It's giving you an actual real size representation. Here's a surprisingly, I have a Beachhead figure on my desk.
What?
It gives you,
Stunning.
the real size of Beachhead and his gear, and it's got a page of that for everybody.
I was a day one backer here. I'm very excited for this project. I think it's fantastic. I do though think it's hilarious. There's going to be 4 volumes of these thick ass books, and you're like, yeah, take them to shows with you. You're like, that's.
Like the mountain climbing.
I mean, no, they're totally going to come in handy. Don't get me wrong, but it is funny. Like, yeah, I got my 4 compendiums. Like, hold on a second.
They are not physically large books. They're kind of short and stubby books.
Yeah, I know. I'm just joking.
No, this looks great. And
it's 4 of them.
Collectors of the original set, I got major respect. I have a lot of the older figures from back in the day, and apparently there's a big box of vehicles at my mom and dad's house in Grand Rapids, Michigan, well, just outside Grand Rapids, and they will not dig it out for me. I've asked them for well over 2 decades. They will not dig it out for me. There are just boxes on top of boxes on top of boxes in their garage. They will not dig it out for me. Even for my birthday, which feels like you gave birth to me. You can't do that for me. Now you're old. What happened?
Ray, it's the plot to get you to come back to Grand Rapids.
I went and I saw the boxes, and I understood in the moment why they wouldn't dig it out for me.
Well, then I think the correct moment here is to just shut up. Give your parents a break, man.
You know I don't know how to do that.
I know. In either sense.
Someday I'll get those vehicles.
I mean, they've been in the garage for 20 years.
They've been in the garage longer than that. I just started asking 20 years ago because my mom in a random conversation said, we got like a box of G.I. Joe vehicles. Oh, you know you do? You know you do? Well, please get them for me. No.
I mean, those boxes, they belong to the squirrels now.
Yeah, meanwhile, 15 years ago, your mom was selling them on eBay, and now she just doesn't want to tell you.
Oh my God.
Probably.
The truth comes out.
Probably. That's anyways, this is there for you. Ray, check that out, man.
I will check it out. I'm a very limited collector these days. I've been collecting more of the larger figures. Kind of when I see one that really inspires me. So I have like a Tomax and Zaymod. I got a Firefly. Firefly is probably my favorite at this point. I got a Barbecue, who was my favorite when I was a kid. Cobra Commander. I do have a Cobra Commander as well. I actually bought these cool stands at the Robo Toy Fest. Joe, you know about these? The ones that look like action, the explosions, and you put your big figures on them. God, yeah, I have one right here. Hold on.
You mean like this?
They look exactly like that. Yes, that is the deal. Guy 3D prints them. He's incredible. I'm sure you know his name. I unfortunately do not. I've seen him a couple of times, and these are wonderful. I had these on my desk. at a very popular video game company, and I had Barbecue on one, and I had Cobra Commander on the other. And then I got laid off, and these came not very well disassembled in a giant box, and it made me so sad that I never that you see there's nobody on them now.
This is a gentleman by the name of Snake Eyes, by the way, for you listeners out there.
I'm not familiar. Is he a new character?
He is, I believe he's Cobra, but the name of like Snake. I think he's one of the bad guys.
He must be one of the bad guys. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think he's one of the bad guys. And I think he was created. They first made him for that first live action G.I. Joe movie, The Rise of Cobra. I think it was about his origin. And then
maybe he came with a vehicle or something. I just don't recognize him.
Yeah.
He was in the show.
Diana Davis notes that we had boys' moms. My toys were gone, mostly gone a week after I left for college. You know what? Maybe that is true, but my mom was kind of like us. My mom actually, when we were kids, she had all of the first edition Barbies from when she was a kid.
Oh boy!
So she understood hanging on to stuff.
Yeah, my parents held on to all my stuff. I would have flipped if they had gotten rid of it. So.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, yeah, my parents, I think they're just too lazy to sell them. Just be real about it.
Right. But our friend Vagon is here. Made it, and the show's not over. It's because we started on West Coast time, man. It's a once in a lifetime type of opportunity. We'd probably do it again at some point.
We haven't even hit an hour yet, Mike. I mean, please, we got like 18 more hours to go with this.
We're right up on an hour. Yes, it is just past midnight Eastern time.
Shout out to my boy Cujo in the comments.
Yeah,
haven't chatted with you in a while, my friend. Good to see you.
Yeah, me either. I need to do something about that. But Cujo,
for the record, I haven't talked to Cujo either.
Yeah. But Ray, for somebody who's been in the G.I. Joe podcasting community for as long as you have, you don't know anybody.
No. What we listen, and we talked about this with Joe before the show started. Are we going to do this now? Let's do it now. Because our show, Knowing Is Half the Podcast, came out just a few months before Joe on Joe Mind. Joe on Joe podcast came out. What's on Joe Mind? Listen, the G.I. Joe podcast community is very hard to figure out. But Joe on Joe came out only a few months after my show did. And that's exciting. It means we were first. But we do two totally different things. We're more of an irreverent take. We watch a lot of other 80s and 90s cartoons. We try to find the worst ones possible. And then we have a really good time, myself, TV's Gina Ippolito, and one Robert Clark Chan. And we have a really wonderful time watching the shows and just riffing, having a good time. We recap them. People can watch along or watch beforehand and sort of just like be in on the jokes or just enjoy it for what it is. And what Joe does is completely different than what we do. What Joe does is what do you say? MST3K, but for G.I. Joe, which is awesome. You know, it's absolutely inspired. But again, he draws a different type of audience, as does What's on Joe Mind draws a very different type of audience than Knowing Is Half the Podcast. I could fully understand how somebody at any point over the last like 10 years hit up my show, hit up your shows, and then was like, yeah, I'm not feeling that. I'm going to go with these shows that are a little bit more, have more reverence for the source material. And there's no foul. There's no harm lost. We could all exist in the same ecosphere.
Whatever you say, Ray.
Yeah, sure.
I tuned out about halfway through. I'm just going to say.
I'm over here giving everyone flowers. You know what? Our show is better. F you if you don't listen. Is that what you...
No. Yeah, no, absolutely. I don't think anyone's saying otherwise. I think there's room for all of us. I think that's what's great. Apparently not enough room for all of us.
I am overly mad at you. I'm more mad at you than when you voted against me on the Who Would Win show. This is an outrage.
It is.
I'm over here trying to throw the what do you call it? The olive branch to the other G.I. Joe shows out there, and I'm being muted and taken off. This is my villain origin story.
I mean, we needed olive branches,
right? You're throwing.
Is there some kind of undercurrent fight club of the Joe podcast that I'm unaware of?
I assume with fan bases, people have picked sides. I just assume that because people are terrible.
I mean, Ray, the bridge between our two programs was our mutual fan, Channing Sherman.
Well, that's the fact. Channing Sherman is a G, and I have nothing bad to say about him.
Right. I mean, former guest host Channing Sherman. It was instrumental in me becoming friends with you guys, and you guys, you know, you're here today. I mean, Joe Slepsky is. I mean, we've been connected with Joe Slepsky for long enough that I can't even remember what brought it on.
I think it was back in the Carter administration.
Right. I mean, maybe
it was before G.I. Joe was a thing.
Yeah. They came to us and they're like, plastic's too expensive for these 12-incher and 8-inchers, guys. What are we going to do? And we said, I don't know, give it a couple of years. Someone will think of something.
And the second part of that's wrong is you're offering olive branches to the people who've already won.
Wow.
So I don't understand.
I mean, given the numbers, who am I to argue?
Right. I mean, 1.7 million hits can't be totally. Actually, it's completely wrong these days. I don't know. Most of those people don't even know that the show's still going.
Knowing Is Half the Podcast did so well in the G.I. Joe podcast wars that I signed on with the Who Would Win show.
Right. Oh, next news item. I guess before we move to the next news item, if you need more information on that, be sure to check out Carson's most recent visit just a couple of weeks back. Go back to episode 339 on March 26th. And in the second hour, we talk a bit about the Kickstarter campaign that is going now until May 18th. But the next news item is, of course, our Skybound offerings for this week. The Energon Universe 2025 special.
Whoa!
This is the same book that was out on Free Comic Day a couple weeks ago. It's got a different cover, is all. That is available today at your local comic shop.
I picked this up at Free Comic Book Day. I will say that I have not given it a hard look yet, but I'm looking at those names and I'm like, whoa, that's good.
Yeah, there's a Transformers story, there's a Joe story, and there is a Void Rivals story, and so those names kind of bridge all three of those. But yeah, there's top talent working on the Energon universe, and I mean, can't be mad at them for what they're trying to do.
For sure.
Available today. Go get it.
It is there today. Ray, I was going to ask. We haven't had a chance to talk much comics with you. Are you in on the Energon universe?
I am in on the Energon universe. I've been reading the Skybound. I'm not caught up though. I am behind. My comic book reading is like, with ADHD. I'll read like 10 in a row and then I won't read it for 6 months. And that's sadly the world that I live in, is that I get super hyped. I mean, I believe, the Cobra Commander series, the Destro series. I have the Scarlet and Duke series. I did read the Duke series, I should say. I don't think I finished the Destro series, and I haven't started the Scarlet series. And then the main line where they all become like zombie mutants in this weird thing that they're doing. That I've only gotten about like 6 deep into that one, but I keep buying them because my hobby is buying comic books. It's not reading comic books.
Right. I understand where you're coming from there.
I can connect with that. Yeah,
sometimes.
for sure.
I can certainly feel that.
This entire from here that are all books I've purchased and have not read. That entire all of that.
Yeah, I got piles upon piles around me of just things I need to get to. And it's like, I have the time to read. That means I have the time to make podcasts. And, let's keep it real. One's going to trump the other most of the time.
Yeah,
sorry.
There's a lot of production involved on podcasting, man. That ain't no joke.
It's more than it's appropriate.
So anyways, that is there today for you. Put it in your hot little hands as soon as possible. Obviously, you're not doing it today, probably, but go tomorrow.
Break in. They still have it.
This garbage can right through that front window.
Look, sometimes you got to
go. The only thing it was missing was a one Energon Universe special. I mean, they weren't gluttons.
Look, when it comes to the Energon Universe comic book, sometimes you got to do the right thing.
That's right. They understand.
Look, if you got that, we're friends now. I'm sorry.
Oh my. And then we've got some other Skybound bits for weeks coming. Also today, Transformers 20 and the trade paperback of the Transformers series. Ooh. Volume 3 hit the stands. Volume 3 covers issues 13 through 18, I believe. Next week on May 21, the Void Rivals Deluxe Hardcover Volume 1, which I can't see myself purchasing under any circumstances. And then on May 28, G.I. Joe 7, that is the Energon Universe G.I. Joe. The second story kicks off. We're looking at the G.I. Joe undercover team. It's got Flint and a debuting Beachhead on the cover. And then the Transformers Compendium Trade Paperback Volume 1. That is Marvel Comics 1 through 46 and the Headmasters miniseries.
Wow.
In the Transformers Compendium.
Now, how is the Transformers? I have not been up on the Transformers Skybound. How is it?
It's
good.
It's good. I kind of have a problem with the body count that we're at.
Yep. They're having sex with a lot of people.
They are.
Wow, that seems inappropriate for Transformers.
Body count.
Right. But I mean, they're robots, so you can't really understand what's going on. But no, I mean, seriously though, there's just one of those where my general feeling is not that we should be avoiding character deaths, but in a lot of cases, we're seeing characters turn up for 2 panels, and then they get offed for the whole thing. And we're talking like long-standing legacy type characters that have been somebody's favorite since 1984, 1985.
Like Circuit Breaker.
No, actually, no.
Said what I said. No, I'm just kidding.
Still wholly
no one's favorite character.
Still wholly owned by Marvel Comics, by the way. And I think too many of those characters have been dealt with in ugly fashion. So that's my one small complaint with the Transformers book to this point. But also on May 28th, Void Rivals 19 and the Void Rivals Trade Volume 3 as well. Big month of May for Skybound.
Yeah, exciting.
Go buy the comic books.
Right? I mean, it's good they got a plan, because all month long,
it's gonna be May.
That's right.
That, I'll be honest with you.
What's that?
I wasn't ready for it.
We're full of surprises here, Ray. But again, had you caught our last episode, you'd have known that was in the chamber, because we beat the crap out of the JT meme.
No one expects the Justin Inquisition.
Nope.
Thank you. No, I mean,
it's gonna be May.
Holy crap, he's back. I did not do my research for this, so I am only a step behind.
Clearly.
Are you going to do it again?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I mean, the rule of comedy is 3s.
It's gonna be May.
I had a feeling.
I mean, I kind of felt pressured into that one, but
I wanted to pressure you into it, and I'm glad I did. I'll be honest. I feel payoff and a lot right now.
It's complicated. Ray has feelings.
I knew your podcast was driven by payola, Mike.
Next news item. That's right. If you head over to the What's on Joe Mind swag shop,
wow,
we do have our new minimalist 14th anniversary design. That is the outline of the F-14 Tomcat, or the Sky Striker, if you will, along with our logo and the simple number 14. No sale going on the old swag shop at TeePublic just yet, but just wait around a couple of weeks. It'll come around again.
It always
14,
does.
Wasn't 14 Bazooka's number 2?
It was.
You should do. Have you done a Bazooka themed 14?
No, but it's an idea for later.
I have been getting the sponsored Facebook ad for the Bazooka tee of his jersey, and I'm like, Halloween's coming up at some point.
There's no
I think
way
I could pull off a bazooka.
Maybe. There's no way I could grow that mustache, but that luxurious mustache.
I just don't know that people would perceive me as that dumb. It seems like a hard role play.
I just imagine what your co-hosts are saying right now, so I'm amused. I don't know if anyone else is.
Yeah, I used to, and as no lie, in my car, I used to keep fake mustaches. I'm not joking, because you never knew when you were at a social event someone would want to wear a mustache. And I'm telling you, it came in handy more often than once. I'm not even joking. Someone we'd be at a party, and I'd be like, "Hey, hold on a second." I'd go out, I'd grab a mustache that fit the occasion. Not even joking.
No, that's brilliant.
It kind of reminds me of that scene out of UHF where the guy with the big garish cowboy hat comes in and breaks some bad news to the network manager, and he's like, "And take that ridiculous thing off." And he stops and tears the mustache off, but the ridiculous hat stays on.
That hat was too big. It was like an oversized a frontier hat, but it also had like a raccoon tail hanging from the back by a chain. That hat was outstanding. It
was extremely ornate, in addition to being like a 12-gallon hat. And he just sadly tears the mustache off and sulks out of the room.
Guys, if you haven't seen this movie, UHF, probably do it.
It's beautiful, and it's a deeper look into my psyche than any other piece of mass media that exists.
UHF holds the record as being the movie I've seen in theaters the most times in my life.
Oh, wow.
I saw UHF in theaters 14 times.
Oh wow.
Now, it's not normal, but they opened a new like mall / office complex / movie theater called the Laurel Park, which you probably get a lot of spam junk mail from if you live in the United States. It's from Livonia, Michigan, and it's the Laurel Park Center. And look for it now because I've started getting it and it blew my mind. But they opened a brand new movie theater there. And to celebrate for the first like month or two, it was $1 tickets, $1 popcorn. No, I take that back. 25-cent tickets, 25-cent popcorn. And they had about 6 movies they played for a month straight. The 2 I remember are UHF and Young Einstein with Yahoo Serious. There's a pull. And I watched I went there like basically every day. And I watched UHF because why wouldn't you for 50 cents?
Right. UHF was I remember going to see that opening weekend, and my friend Matt and I were 2 of 6 people in the theater.
That's outrageous.
Right. So we knew that it wasn't going to hang around long, and we were glad that we went on opening night.
Yeah, I remember sitting in theaters for UHF, and then right as the lights started going low and the movie started, I had this knot in the pit of my stomach, and I'm like, oh no, what if this is bad? And then it wasn't.
Yeah, no,
greatest relief I've felt in my entire life.
That was not a possibility in my world. But I will say the only time I've been in a movie with less of an audience was for MacGruber. Which
that's not a bad movie.
No, it's really not.
Fantastic movie. Yeah.
It's not bad. That's kind of depressing.
But MacGruber, my friend Fang and I were 2 of 4 people in that theater. And the other 2 was a young couple sitting about 5 rows in front of us, and I don't think that they got a second date.
Oh no.
I know.
Love is dead.
It didn't go well. MacGruber, not a great first date movie.
I mean, strong disagree, but obviously I can't speak to their experience.
Right. I mean, by that point, you were already happily married, Ray, I'm sure.
No, but I mean, to be fair, if you take a date to MacGruber, you should know the person well enough, even if you don't, to know how it's going to go. So if you're going out on a flyer to MacGruber, and you did yourself a favor if it doesn't work, as far as I'm concerned, right?
Right.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I think honestly it's a good test. This is a thing that I've done a lot. There's a movie by Uwe Boll called House of the Dead, and it's one of the greatest movies I've ever seen in my entire life. And whenever I would make new friends with somebody,
better than Descendants 3, better than Descendants 3,
different than Descendants 3, good in a different way.
I'm just trying to get your barometer here.
I'm going to rate them. Descendants 3 is
on the
higher.
number of Descendants. How much are you giving Uwe Boll's House of the Dead?
The difference is when I'm deciding what 7-year-olds to hang out with, I have them come over and we watch Descendants 3.
Are we talking about the Catholic Church again?
Yeah,
halfway. The point is that I would sit down and I say, we're going to hang out. We're going to watch a movie and we're going to watch House of the Dead. And based on the person's reaction to House of the Dead, I determine whether this person is possible to be my friend. Because when you get older, you got to have better standards, quite honestly, because you're not going to gel with a lot of people. And I know that if you sit down with a rando like me and we watch House of the Dead and you're like, that was a wild trip, I had a good time, I know that you're somebody that I can mesh with. If you watch House of the Dead and you're like, that's effing weird, you're a weirdo, what are we doing? That movie was terrible. I know we're probably not going to get along in other ways. So it's just a nice little, what do you call it? Like that thing you with the vegetables.
Litmus test.
That's what a smart person would say. I'm going to say a colander. It's a colander that I would put people through to see if they stick around inside it.
Yeah, Phil Donnelly asking what the world wants to know, and your standards are an Uwe Boll movie.
Yes,
I mean everybody's got their own.
Can we get Uwe Boll to direct Descendants 5?
Andrew Goggin
do a good job. I'll go ahead and say it.
Andrew Goggin was at a test screening of House of the Dead, and I've never seen an audience turn on a movie and savage it in real time so quickly and viciously in all my life.
For the record, turning on House of the Dead quickly and viciously is on the table for appropriate reactions.
well, fair enough.
That doesn't mean you're wrong. If you MST3K, or should I say Joe on Joe podcast, that particular movie, then I think that you're in a pretty good place. That doesn't mean we can't get along. I'm not saying you got to be riveted and come out of it saying like that's a 10 out of 10. If you do that, I think you're weirder. We definitely won't get along. If you watch that and you come out of it being like, Ray, I'm going to be honest with you. It's the best goddamn movie I've ever seen in my life. I know not to trust you.
I feel like I found religion.
Yeah, that's not the direction you should go. But like I say, if you can't have fun with that movie, I don't know, man. I just, what are we doing at that point?
Matt Rubin notes that Uwe Boll single-handedly tanked video game movies for at least a decade.
See, that's an opinion. And I'm not going to say it's a wrong opinion, but what Uwe Boll did is he formed the bridge of video game movies existing that allowed us to have a Minecraft movie, a Super Mario Brothers movie, and all the new stuff that's coming out that is going to make $1 billion.
It's what makes me upset, Ray, is that I wish you had more time to prepare material for this show.
My life has been a preparation for this show. I can call back nonsense I never thought about until the moment I started talking about it. For example, my House of the Dead test, which I haven't applied in about, 8 years. It's the last time I did it. Yeah, 2009. I remember.
Next news item.
Why?
Burp, 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 burp.
Hey, if you want to keep yourself up to the minute, up to date on all the leaks and production things that are out there, we don't really talk about that stuff here on What's on Joe Mind. We don't talk leaked photos. Lord knows you've already seen them before you get here. When we break news like that, we're telling you like a whole half a year's worth of figures at one time. That's what we're doing. But if you gotta get yourself in on and satiate that leaked prototype Jones, head over to the surveillance port. That's surveillance-port.com. Get yourself a daily news fix and all the pre-production images you could care to see. Links to reviews and advanced type stuff. It's all right there at surveillance-port.com. Be sure to tell Eric we sent you, and he'll probably be like, who?
Say good job, Eric.
He's been on the show. He knows who we are.
Yeah, I have no opinion on this.
No, Ray. Again,
I feel like I should have a strong opinion on this. I just don't.
Because every time I talk to you about G.I. Joe news, I'm giving you just crushing, terrible, terrible feelings.
Every single time. It's frankly distressing. I have to sit here clutching my Cobra Commander pop figure.
Oh.
Or perhaps also clutching my Cobra Bat pop figure that happens to be right next to me at all times.
That Cobra Commander is one of the 3 pops that I have. One of 3.
See? A really good one.
I
There's a
like
Zartan here as well, but I meant to give that away.
I like Cobra Commander because he doesn't have huge dead eyes.
No, I will disagree with that statement. Those are vibrant, living dead eyes.
One of the other ones I have is, of course, Beachhead, and then the third one is the Cookie Monster as Alistair
that's a win.
Right.
See, I went for a theme. Hold on, I got 2 more here in this set because I have Megatron, right?
Right.
And then I also have Megatron.
Well, of course.
Look, if you get that, maybe we can be friends again.
Listen, I not only do I get that, I always have to put this out there. It is always my biggest regret that before Megatron retired, there wasn't like a D-back that came out and said his nickname was Galvatron.
See, that would have been strong. I know somebody
that
on
would
the
have been
team,
strong, or even Optimus Prime. You know what I mean?
But some tried to be Optimus Prime. For the record, somebody did try.
Oh, they did. Okay, but yeah, some D-back should have been like I'm Galvatron, or some up and coming running back. Someone in the know should have made a move like that.
No,
Right. I would think the next young receiver would have tried to be Galvatron.
Sure, something like that. Yeah.
That's outstanding. There was a player on the Lions who was like, call me Optimus Prime, but I think he got cut like half a year later, so we didn't really worry about that. He got cut the same way Optimus Prime did in the movie. Hey, everybody.
Blam. Oh. Anyways, next news item.
So you say.
That's all we got. Look at that. Remember, the G.I. Joe 3D Printing Podcast is the proud sponsors of Chunky Tank Kitty and his Meowler Tank. Be sure to catch them most every weekend. If you want to get in on 3D printing, if you're a veteran, if you're a novice, even if you just want to know what stuff to buy, G.I. Joe 3D Printing Podcast has all the information you might need. So be sure to check in with Mike, Mark, and Artwan and get all the information. These guys, they're nuts. They're crazy. They're geniuses. We had Mark on the show. He showed off a 2-seater classified scale shark. I mean, that he just whipped out of his 3D printer. He's a crazy person.
I love this picture.
Right. You can't beat that.
You put a cat in an Amazon box tank, you win.
Right. And in fairness, I didn't do that. That's not my cat. That's not my photo. But I couldn't say no.
What do you mean? It's your photo. It's on your show. It's your photo.
Well, sure, I didn't take it, but we did have little action kitty tank figures made. And I got some of those.
All right, that's baller as hell.
Right?
Yeah, that's a big win. That's a big. It's like when people were really into NFTs and you could just take a screen grab of their picture and go, I have it too.
Right?
You have this picture. It's on your podcast.
NFTs.
Yep. Oh, you're stealing my NFT. You're stealing my Bored Ape.
Yeah. And here's the deal. I want to own a Bored Ape. I'm going to say it right now. When they're still like $1,500 somehow. We're well past the NFT craze. I'm waiting for them to come down to like $15, and then I'm absolutely buying one, and no one can stop me. I want to be part of the Bored Ape Yacht Club. I want to join their Discord for $15. More than that, that's a hard pass.
That's it for the news. And now for a quick message from our wonderful sponsors at Kokomo Toys.
We buy, sell, and trade vintage and modern toys. G.I. Joe, Star Wars, Transformers, Marvel, DC, and more. Located in beautiful downtown Kokomo, Indiana, we are open every Wednesday through Saturday from 12 to 5. It's a theme park of nostalgia. Join the thousands of people who have traveled from all over the Midwest for over a decade to buy and sell with us. Get your geek on.
There we go.
Wow, that's amazing.
I'm gonna guess you haven't been to Kokomo Toys, Ray.
Indiana's a place?
Yep.
No. To be fair, down the street from my house, there's a place called Toys of the Universe that didn't have as much G.I. Joe as I was hoping, but a lot of like old wrestling figures and a lot of like old Star Wars figures. So if you happen to live in the Valley, check out Toys of the Universe. Look, they didn't pay me for that. I just think a place is cool, and I feel bad that I went there and didn't spend any money. So if you do, then I don't feel so bad anymore.
Well, I mean, Ray, if they didn't have what you were looking for, then they should take that to heart.
They had a lot of really cool stuff, but again, I need to stay married and in a house. No, I'll tell you, my wife bought me one of these glass. After I begged her for about 10 years, she got me this glass case, a curio cabinet, and I still haven't put it together. But in theory, that's where I'm going to store a whole bunch of really cool stuff. Maybe all from Toys of this universe, but I haven't done it yet because I'm lazy.
Well, we did get some interaction with the old mailbag. So
That's exciting.
First up,
It's like Blue's Clues.
right?
Oh, that's cool.
Hey team, here's one section of my vintage and modern collection cases containing 116 awesome figures. Enjoy.
Dude.
That's awesome.
We
Dude.
will, Jason Griffith.
Jason, you're winning, dude. That's incredible.
And it's difficult to tell from the photo we got here, but it looks a little Firefly centric. So looks like you got a favorite.
Extra win, dude. I love Firefly and the Crimson Twins. Let's go. Jason, you have a seal of approval.
There you go. Ray has decided you're his friend, and you didn't even have to watch an Uwe Boll movie.
To be fair, Jason, have you seen House of the Dead? Because you could come over and watch it. You own this. You're allowed to come over to my house and watch House of the Dead on my CRT TV and watch it the way God intended.
With the living.
Correct. If you call this living.
Joe Slepsky, how much stuff you got displayed?
Well, more than I used to. I got a wall up with like it's like a case that holds about 36 OGs in it. I've got some of my carded stuff up on the walls above them in nice little patterns. So I live in a little GI Joe den right here. It's not on camera. It's literally all off camera there.
Right.
So yeah. When people come in the house, they know what's up.
Oh wait, I mean my entire collection's over there too. I just can't show you.
I live in an apartment where comic long boxes are furniture.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could see behind me,
lovely.
you know.
That's lovely too. That is inspiring, honestly.
But that's not really mine. That's the other guy. That's our pal Ragtime Rob.
We miss him. I still think about him walking into a comic shop and just seeing all the digests there for purchase. I literally thought of that the other day, and I was like, "Ragtime, you winner! Massive man, you!" I really thought of that the other day.
He is
I was
still
like, "That's an awesome win."
Like he's still telling that story.
Yeah, no, I'm absolutely not joking.
And usually when I overhear it, it's like you know Slepsky somewhere is just like catching that on the wind, like
yeah,
he's rubbing it in my face again.
All those delicious digests.
Oh, so much adventure comics. Next up, hello, Mike and Rob, and I guess Joe and Ray.
Yeah, that's not me.
Just wanted to get your thoughts on G.I. Joe classified products being delayed this year. It's frustrating as a collector, and I find it easy to make this a jumping off point. Do you think this delay will kill the line, or will collectors just jump back in when product is available? I don't think it's going to kill the line. I think if classified fans were willing to wait out pandemic length waits, which wasn't that long ago, but seems like it was forever ago.
Yeah.
But if we're going to keep collecting through 2020, 2021, first half of 2022, I don't think the delay is necessarily going to be what kills the line. I think if there's one thing that is killing the line, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon, but I do think momentum has slowed a little bit. We don't have as many, top A-list characters waiting to get done, right? Like we're starting to get into the niche characters. We're starting to get into the folks that maybe aren't well known from the cartoon, that maybe aren't well known from the comic series in the 80s, and so I think there's a time coming really soon where we start seeing shades of Star Wars Black, where there's just entire waves of characters you may not be in love with. But I'll tell you, man, if to change tack a little bit, Jason, what I would say is if this isn't bringing you joy, you don't need to feel any shame in not buying classified figures.
Look, I saw classified got to Crystal Ball, and that's when I started going, uh-oh.
And you know something? They did looks like they did a really kick-ass job on Crystal Ball.
He looks incredible. I'm not gonna lie.
Really does.
But like that's a level of GI Joe that you start losing the casuals and start hitting the super niche fans, right? And so obviously that figure is not going to sell as well as, a more well-known figure like a Raptor or a sneak peek. But the point I'm trying to make in all of this is that once you do all the hits, if you're good, you're good. And there's nothing shameful, like you said, about being good. And I don't know necessarily this might kill some momentum, sure. But if you see a new figure come out and you like it, go buy it. And if you don't like it, don't buy it. And that's the market.
That is certainly the point I have been at with Classified for a long time. So maybe I'm reading too far into the forest and checking out too many of the trees. But if you don't want to be in, you don't have to be in. You're still a fan, even if you're not buying everything that comes out. You still love Joe. It's still okay.
I didn't know that. I need to hold on. I need to reassess.
But as far as the weights go,
I'm such a completist. I'm nuts. I'm stupid.
But as far as
the
product weighting goes, no, I don't think it's gonna kill the line. I think we're all gonna be waiting for a number of things in the next couple of weeks and months, and hopefully not years.
Some of y'all been waiting for 40 years for these figures. An extra 3 months ain't gonna kill you. Yeah,
right. Yeah, Greg Augustin with my sticking point. We're getting Cold Slither before Flash. Yeah, it bothers me a little bit, but
those figures are incredible, though.
Yeah, they really are.
The Cold Slither. Not since I saw the ones of the Cobra characters like in disguises on the subway when they made that set, have I been more energized for a set than this Cold Slither set. That's incredible.
Right. And those were even Super 7 with the 5 points of articulation, and they were still pretty awesome.
Yeah, you're not taking those out of the box. They come on a subway.
So, but yeah, again, so just do you, man. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing. I know the hip macho, peeing contest toy guys that you catch in most YouTube media these days are going to tell you, oh, you got to get them all or you don't know nothing. I know plenty, and I don't have much of anything. So, yeah, don't worry about it, man. Collect what makes you happy. Your collection is your collection, and it's the only one like it. So enjoy it because it is yours.
100%.
And again, I'm answering the question and not really, and I'm answering the question I see, and I'm answering the questions I don't see. So I apologize if I'm totally off base there. But yeah, don't sweat it, man. If it's a jumping off point for you, jump off. It's fine. We'll still see you here every Tuesday.
Yeah, jump off and then jump back on when someone comes by with your favorite guy.
Right.
We don't work for them. We don't owe them anything.
Here I go plugging the show on Tuesday. Show's on Wednesday. So don't, if you're watching on Tuesday, just don't expect us to be live. Anyways. Next up. Okay, we got video assist on this one, so bear with me.
That cat hates you.
That is Claude. Okay, that is Claude the cat, like the classic Looney Tunes character. Hi, team. You saw the video. So Claude was less than thrilled to be in a shirt. He was cranky. We left it on him because he simply has to learn to plug the damn show in this out.
That's good.
He hid under the kitchen table and went back. We went back to the stream and our dinner. That's the TeamStream, of course. Half an hour later, Claude arrives in the living room naked. We thought nothing of it at the time. And then Cullen went looking for the shirt after you signed off. And where do we go? There we go. Just remember, cats are assholes who wear fur. And that's from Diana Davis.
That's phenomenal.
Oh my God. I had to. I mean, where else is the cat going to put things that it knows you take away, right? I get it, Claude. I ain't mad at you, buddy. I ain't mad at you. But wow.
Claude, you earned my respect.
Oh, we'll show him one more time in the shirt, and then you can look at the shirt afterwards.
That is a cat who wants to know when his suffering will end.
Right. And I got to superimposed poop emoji on top of the real thing there because that was pretty graphic. But yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's good times.
Welcome to What's on Joe Mind. We censor poop.
He's a jerk.
I mean, he's a cat. It's understood.
Right. What is understood need not be said.
But it's a podcast, so we will anyway.
Right. That's what we're here for. Yeah. So we'll Cullen is admonishing the cat. You don't have to do that, man. It's okay. We cats are not necessarily closed beings, even less so than dogs. So we're not mad at him. We respect Claude and his individuality. That's Claude saying that he doesn't want his collection to include t-shirts. But at least for a few seconds, he plugged the damn show. So we appreciate that. Oh, the shirt in the litter box is killing me. Anyways,
that's next level.
I have been waiting 2 weeks to get that in the show.
Like there's shitting on a podcast, and then there's that.
Right? And they're shitting on a podcast.
Literally.
Although it was not so much the verb, it was really just the noun. So
why fight it?
So we're at that point in the show. Since folks are more familiar with him and he's less likely to go on for 40 minutes, we'll start with Joe Slepsky.
Sure.
How do you like that, Joe? We found another co-host that makes you seem like the quiet one.
Yeah, you caught me in an off week. But I appreciate the challenge.
What's going on with Joe on Joe podcast?
Oh, well, I'm in a little bit of a hiatus time these days. I'm doing at least once a month, trying to squeeze in a little bit more. Just reran our Gia Colombo this week, and I'm got to get to I got to finish up special missions. And I'm working. I just had correct an idea for the next theater production one, so I think I might be able to get that out before Comic-Con. So I'm going to try to get that done.
All right.
I might call on you for some voices.
Okay,
Mr. Mike, Mr. General Hawk.
All right. I'm in the Slepsky verse.
Yeah, you are.
Hell
yeah, you are.
Now I'm just jealous.
Yeah.
Joe, give me a call. Let's do a thing.
You got it.
I got a shipwreck inside me somewhere.
There you go. I've also been doing on the side. I've been doing my my friend's podcast, Part-Time Fanboy, and over the last year we've been doing all Planet of the Apes stuff. So we're getting ready to record the first our thoughts on the first 3 episodes of the live action TV series in the 70s. So check out Part-Time Fanboy, and I show up there, and we ape out.
Job along in the city. Welcome to the show. With a question for Diana and Cullen. Will you be raffling off the Claude Warren Litterbox Shorn t-shirt? I mean, that's up to them. So that's we love to do stuff like that for charity around here, but I just can't see the t-shirt in the litter box being a real great raffle type.
That's like when women sell their underwear on the internet,
right?
And they're like, do you want them worn, or do you want them fresh?
Or when you get the used Kleenex from celebrities,
right? Yeah,
I just don't see us making that random 11 grand that way. I just don't see that.
You can clone Elvis with the sweat.
See, the problem is you're buying that in order to tell the story, but then after you've bought it, you have to tell the story.
Yeah.
There you go. I think there's some health codes against that. That's from Diana. Yep. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, probably.
Probably.
Yeah.
Oh, Firefly, anyone who quotes Dom DeLuise, you're okay in my book.
Right.
We can hang out.
Dom DeLuise is Caesar. Watch
To
this.
quote our friend Ray, we can be friends.
Firefly's good people. I'll never say that with him in the room, but here across the miles, I can say things like that. So, Joe, I did see this week that you suffered a loss in the family.
We did. Yeah, we did.
Shirley Feeney, the popular guest star of What's on Joe Mind.
Frequent collaborator.
Right?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
with it. So our heart goes out to you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Yeah, she was a sweetie.
She was, and one of the great co-stars of G.I. Columbo.
I dare say no one's ever portrayed Junkyard better.
Right.
Since, essayed Junkyard since the original. Better
Right.
than sweet Shirley Feeney.
Right. We had great chemistry in that episode.
Yeah. Yes, you did. You and her acted together quite a bit.
And so I feel a great loss, and
thanks, buddy.
And again, our best to you and the missus on that.
I appreciate that. Yeah, she's a sweetie. We're gonna miss her.
But Race to Canis, pick up the mood.
I gotta follow the passed away beloved pet. You're gonna put me in that position? That's not fair.
What are you, Casey Kasem? I gotta follow a goddamn dog dying with a death dedication.
Dude,
you gotta roll in a Bay City Rollers.
I was not expecting that particular reference, but bless you. That is exactly what was called for. And I'm enamored by that. That's incredible.
Oh my
yeah,
God.
I haven't lost any pets recently, but you should probably like me anyway.
Or if you don't, we understand.
No, I feel terrible. I've had pets my entire life, and it's a terrible moment, Joe. I didn't know that, but what a terrible moment. How sad. That is unfortunately the thing that happens, and I wish it didn't. But I'm. I got shows. I do comedy, folks.
We closed the well, and you went back to the well anyway, right?
No, because you have to. You have to reference it. If you don't, it's hanging over you like the sword of Damocles, and you have no chance to move forward.
Right,
I'd rather acknowledge and move on. It's a great life tip.
We gave you the easy out, Ray, and you refused
easy
to
out.
take it.
Are you out of your mind right now? What's on Joe out of your mind? That's outrageous. You give me the easy out. Yeah, let's just forget that happened. That terrible thing that's happened to us all, that's recent with Joe. Hey, here's Ray the funny man. Great, thanks.
Laugh it up,
Mike.
Ray.
I appreciate you.
Laugh it up, Ray. Come on. Let's make with the ha-ha. Come on.
I do some shows, and
Come on.
if you've enjoyed anything I've done tonight, you may enjoy a show that I do. Not all of them, because there's a limit. But, you might want to check out Knowing Is Half the Podcast. That's the G.I. Joe recap show. We're just finishing season 8. We just finished all of G.I. Joe Sigma 6. We're about to launch into season 9, which is going to start with Resolute and the G.I. Joe live action movie, and start up on Renegades. So if that seems up your speed, we do an irreverent look. We make a lot of very inappropriate jokes. We have a good time with the source material. And in between, we mix in a lot of really bad 80s and 90s cartoons. Shockingly, there's a lot more than you think there are. And I know you say to yourself, oh, I knew that there were a lot of them. There's way more than that. I am constantly astounded by seeing things that blow my mind that I had no idea even existed. We just watched Starship Troopers, Rico's Roughnecks, which I've been hearing for decades how great this show is. And it is not. It was not very good at all. And I'm very disappointed in those people who told me 20 years ago how good that show was.
Yeah,
you know who you are. You're not here with us. Yeah, they're dead now. But we have a lot of fun with those particular topics and shows. Listen, if you're on board, come check it out. And if you're not, don't. It's like the classified figures. So it might be for you, it might not be for you. I don't care. You
That's
do
a
you.
hell of a plug, Ray.
Look, people see me wearing this shirt, living in this particular board game space, hearing me shouting about inanities, and you say to yourself, that guy's kind of entertaining. And that means you should probably check out the show. And if you listen to him being like, God, I wish he'd never come back, then you probably shouldn't check out the show because I'm on the show. I'm not here to mince words. You might like it, you might not. Whatever.
I would advise noise dampening headphones.
Well, we noise, unlike this show, we noise cancel. So like, we bring everybody to levels where it's more appropriate.
You all speak on alternating frequencies, so it's just no sound for 45 minutes.
Right.
That's correct. Yeah. And if you need to sleep, you can put on our show, and then for 45 minutes, you get a good nap, and then I wake you up with my dulcet tones. But also, I do a show called Who Would Win, which up to this point, up until this year, was called the Who Would Win Show. Myself and James Gavsey, my podcast partner in that show, we would go back and forth debating geek culture battles, who would win in a fight between fictional characters from movies, TV, comic books, anime, video games, whatever you got. And so we'd study up, and then we would do a big old argument, and a judge would come on like Mike Irizarry of the What's on Joe Mind podcast.
Twice.
And then they would render a decision twice. But now, after the LA fires made one of us homeless for a while, yeah, it was a rough time, we've decided to sort of like update the show. It's now the Who Would Win Network, and James has his own show called Who Would Win Unleashed, where they do their own thing, and I do a show called Who Would Win Masters. The gimmick behind my show is that the guests no longer come on and judge. The guests come on and actually debate me with their favorite character, and I go out of my way as a Who Would Win champion to take a character of similar levels, and then I argue why that character would win, and we leave it up to the people to decide who wins the battle. So it's not just about one person's decision, because Mike made a lot of mistakes. It's about everyone's opinion and who actually won the battle.
I was actually perfect in my assessments and generally regarded as the king of the two-time guest hosts.
Some would say that. But it is a very fun show. That one really tries to get into the brass tacks. And with my show, there's timed rounds. It's not going to last you all day. We come in, we give you some energy, we make some points, we get out. And it's a lot of fun. And if you're into geek culture stuff and you're into battles and that kind of a thing, that might be a show you might want to check out too. You can find that on the Who Would Win Network, wherever the heck you podcast.
So give some examples, Ray. You've done a couple episodes for the new season here. What were they about?
Yeah, we've had 2 episodes drop so far. The first episode, we just did John Spartan versus Jack Burton. So that would be Demolition Man versus Big Trouble in Little China, which is absolutely delightful. We also did the Dark Knight Nolan trilogy Batman versus the MCU version of Daredevil. And those are some of the shows that we've done before. Obviously, the Who Would Win show has a near 7-year history at this point of a whole bunch of other shows, doing everything from, what was it? He-Man versus Lobo. That was a lot of fun. Solid Snake versus the Iron Giant is one of my all-time favorite shows. Kraven the Hunter versus Killer Croc. Most recently, Furiosa versus the Bride from Kill Bill. We try to mix it around and do a lot of different stuff and try to hit all the different places. So if you like geek culture, you like battles, you like debate, you like a little bit of spirited argument, that might be a good show that you might enjoy as well. They don't let me be as hilarious on that show, but if I've been doing this show for 2 hours and you haven't found me hilarious, maybe that would be more up your alley.
Wait, is this a comedy podcast right now, Mike?
Who knows?
When is it not really?
I thought it was a pizza review. I thought this was a pizza review podcast. Are we supposed to have been fun?
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of all things to all people.
And we did have some battles in the chat they want to know.
Right.
Diana Davis wants to know who would win, Milo or Otis. The answer is obviously Otis.
Phil Donnelly checking in with Kramer versus Kramer.
Yeah, Kramer wins. Doy.
Yeah, I mean, that's
what are we doing here?
That's easy. That's easy.
And Andrew wants to know if that's a copy of Mall of America back there. Look, I'm not one to maul and tell. And if you like audio dramas, why not? I'm here to plug all the hits. Reclaim Detroit, The Vampire the Masquerade audio drama. That's right. I'm multi-talented. I wrote, directed, and play a character on a now seven-part audio drama series taking place in the Vampire the Masquerade universe. And whether you're into that particular vibe, if you like vampire stuff, I think there's something in there for you. All the concepts of Vampire the Masquerade, we try to do a decent job of sort of like expositioning as we go. It's maybe the proudest thing I've actually been a part of. We've got people who are way more talented than I am coming in as voice actors, like actual working voice actors from your favorite cartoons and video games have come on the show in regular parts. And God bless it. Like, nobody tells me no, and I don't know why. But I will say right now, go to vampiredetroit.com. If you're interested in audio dramas, you like vampire stuff, I think it's great. And I say that humbly somehow.
They're just there to raid craft services, right? That's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, look, I send each one of those cheese and cracker plates, but the ones that come in the plastic wrapper with like 6 of them, and they're already pre-made for you.
I mean, that would get me in the door. So
that's all it takes.
Right.
Coming soon. Mike's coming to Vampire Detroit, episode 8. Who knows?
I just
charcuterie.
I'm just going around putting on a really bad accent, going blah 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 at everybody.
There's a place for that. There's a place for that in my universe. And Joe, you got an incredible voice. I might hit you up too.
I'm on board anytime. I've been also playing in a podcast called Madison on the Air. I've been doing voices for hers. Hers is a like a radio play kind of thing too. So check out Madison on the Air as well.
Heck yeah, Madison on the Air gets a stray, but in a good way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Blah, blah, blah. I'll flap my arms around too. Blah. Anyway,
famously in the audio medium, flapping your airs around in the air draws.
I mean, for many years when we were an audio only program, we had a tendency to fall into sight gags on the radio, and that seemed to be a hook with a certain segment of our listenership. So never underestimate people's ability to imagine the most hilarious thing.
I guess I get on Robert Clark Chan because we'll be doing Knowing Is Half the Podcast. It'll be like, there was this one picture from the episode we watched. Let's talk about it at length. And I'm like, they can't see the picture. This doesn't work in an audio medium. We could describe the picture. We could put the picture on our social media, but 90% of the people who listen will have no chance to see this picture. What are we doing?
No, wouldn't work at all. Vagon suggesting Jane Austen versus Steve Austin.
Okay, no, that's a good battle because on one hand, you have an author who made Pride and Prejudice. And on the other hand, you have one of the greatest professional wrestlers of all time and one of the greatest gimmicks of the 1990s and beyond. With this, I do believe Jane Austen takes a stunner, no-sells it. She takes a second stunner and takes the loss, unfortunately.
Yeah. Everybody, it's always a no-sell on the first stunner.
If you're a hack.
You have to get a second and perhaps a third one in there because people love to see the stunner.
If you're untrained, and Jane Austen is not a trained professional wrestler, she wouldn't know what to do.
Now, is that Stone Cold Steve Austin, or is that the $6 million man Steve Austin?
You mean the Ringmaster? Oh, wait. Different version.
Yeah.
We all know it means Stone Cold Steve Austin. Anybody making a $6 million man reference in the year 2025 is awesome, but they don't mean to.
But what if Jane Austen rolls up with the zombies from Pride and Prejudice with zombies?
It's a great call.
Yeah.
Now,
I mean, if that Jane Austen rolls up, she'll not only cut you with her words, but her zombies will also then eat your flesh. She'd probably cut a better promo than any wrestler because, wordsmith.
For the record, you're bringing up a memory that I hadn't thought about in a long time. Over 20 years ago, I was in Ann Arbor, Michigan, at a zombie movie festival. It was actually an independent movie festival, but it was hosted by one Bruce Campbell. People might be aware of who this person is. And so there were a bunch of short films and they were all student films, and they were all shown. And one of them happened to be a zombie piece. And what was phenomenal is as the movie's starting and the zombies started showing up, Bruce Campbell very loudly shouts, "Zombie movie, this is going to suck." We all loved it. But at one point during this zombie movie, which was very mid, it was very boring, honestly, not very great. But the one moment, sometimes that movie has that one moment, right? One moment in this movie, a guy kicks one of the zombies in the midsection and gives the zombie a stone cold stunner. And it was one of the greatest moments in movie history as far as I'm concerned. So based on me seeing that movie with Bruce Campbell, I could say that legitimately 20 some odd years ago, Stone Cold still gets the win against the zombies because it did work.
And if he gets in a spot where he's outnumbered, he could call on his solid ass cats.
Oh, 100%. Cats will win any battle. Especially with the litter box.
I would never fuck with Mr. Mephistopheles. I wouldn't fuck with him. That's the cats we're talking about, right?
There's no other cats.
Mr. Mephistopheles.
Mr. Mesothelioma. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, let's get out of here. We've held on to these people for 2 hours. Our East Coast folks are either unconscious or barely hanging on, I imagine. You got any shout outs, Race to Canis?
I only know how to shout, Mike Harris.
Well, that's true.
Look, I gave you my plugs already. You know, you can check out all kinds of good things. As far as G.I. Joe related things go, I did sponsor this game found Operation Cobra, G.I. Joe board game, which I'm very excited about. To me, Operation Cobra is going to be what I wish Mission Critical was, which was Star Wars Imperial Assault, but for G.I. Joe, kind of a role-playing, miniatures-themed kind of battle game where it was like a co-op or like 1v4 kind of a deal. I'm really hoping that's what it is. I thought that's what Mission Critical was, and it wasn't. I still bought it all. It doesn't matter. But also, if you haven't played that G.I. Joe game from back in the 80s with the gigantic map that you put your figures in and you slide across and you try to like, capture each other, it's like chess, but with like a giant battlefield. I forget the name of it, but it's absolutely incredible, and you should probably play that as well.
All right. I realize I made a tactical error there by offering shout outs to the person who has never done shout outs before.
I have no idea what we're talking about, but I'm going to just say what I want to say. Never stopped me before.
Joe Slepsky, shout outs.
Shout out to Shirley Feeney, Wilhelmina Feeney, making it happen upstairs, looking down on all of you, barking at every mailman in the world. Yeah. Shout out to my wife. God bless her. Keeping it real. And shout out to
keeping it real like Toilet Teal.
Yeah. Like Toilet Teal does. I don't know if I had this last time I was on the show, but shout out to my VHS eBay pickup.
That's very strong.
You're goddamn right. Yeah, shout out to my Sergeant Savage VHS tape. And shout out to you, of course. Happy mother effing birthday, Mikey Rosari.
That's right. Happy birthday to you. Not anymore, so I stop applauding. It's over.
No, here. No. What is it? Well, it is here. You still got 2 hours. Quick, get on the Concorde.
Oh, that's right. Fair. Yeah, if you get over here, then we'll celebrate. Now, to be fair, Mike, I didn't realize the shout outs were for people and loved ones. In which case I'm good.
Who put up with our bullshit?
Yeah, no, I'm good. They're not listening. It's fine.
Again, my fault, Ray. I put you in a spot where you were, I am assuming responsibility on that one. That's on me.
Honestly, it was kind of underhanded of you to have me shout out loved ones when no one loves me.
I just remembered a Commando Attack Game story. I needed to do a project for a book for, I believe it was Mark Twain or Huck Finn, one of the two, in junior high. And what I did was I took the Commando Attack Game and I put trivia questions about Mark Twain or Huck Finn on each of the squares. And so it was my excuse to play Commando Attack in English class in like 7th or 8th grade. Absolutely. 100%. That's how I love that game.
I love that. And yeah, Commando Attack Game is what it's called. I was going to say Commando something. The chat room got it. They nailed it in about 1 second. They know better than me.
Yeah. I turned it into an English book trivia question game.
We got lifers, man. They're not just What's on Joe Mind lifers. They're G.I. Joe lifers.
Look, I get it. I'm not the best fan, but I am a fan.
We'll give a shout out to the folks in the live audience. We appreciate you guys coming back week after week after week. Even sometimes when we're going 3 hours later or 2 hours or whatever, however many hours it is later, as a gimmick to help out the folks on the West Coast. We appreciate you. If you're catching us on replay this week, and I expect many of you will, we appreciate you too. You count just as much. Whatever you do, whoever you are, and however you partake of What's on Joe Mind, be sure you're hitting the big YouTube buttons down below. Right now, they are below Mr. Race to Canis. That is the like button and the subscribe button. Because again, if you've watched this far, that algorithm is just going to recommend us to you for the rest of your life. So you might as well just click the button and help us out.
How hard is it to give a like, people? I mean, you were here for over 2 hours of this high level of entertainment. You can't drop a like on this video? Shame on you. I'm leaving you in the litter box with the What's on Joe Mind cat onesie.
It's quick and most importantly, it's free.
There's no excuse. I'm angry.
It costs you nothing.
If you're catching us on audio only,
I am pissed off at you for not leaving a like right now. What is wrong with you?
Remember, we're available wherever you get your podcasts as well. So be sure to check us out and continue to check us out there. But even then, if you're an audio listener, just swing on over to YouTube. Give us a subscribe.
You could give a 5-star podcast review, and you chose not to. I am furious.
Just let the boys sleep in your house. Give them a like. Just come.
Give a shout out to Racktime Rob, who was just busy this week.
Yeah, Racktime.
So he is fine. He is not dead. He is not leaving the show. I know when you guys don't see a host for a while, because Lord knows we've cycled through a few at this point. So I don't fault you for thinking the worst, but it's fine. Racktime Rob will be back next week. And of course, shout out to Joe and to Ray for helping us out here. Pretty short notice. I appreciate you guys just being able to drop and go at a moment's call. Ray, it's been a long time. We've been trying to get you on the show for like 2 years now.
It's true. And to be fair, I'm not popular, so I don't understand at all why this took so long. I do 72 other podcasts, so I think that maybe had something to do with it.
No, it's just that every time I would ask, you'd be like, I have kids.
Well, that's the problem is you're like, hey, Ray, can you do it before you've left work for the day? Can you just get started at the office, do it in the car as we're going, and then finish up at home when your kid needs to be tucked into bed? And I go, obviously, yes, but this week is bad.
Right? I mean, your camera has a phone. You can do this.
The people had enough of me at full maximum impact. I don't know that me going halfway is going to do anybody any good at all. I'm excited for the fact that somebody out there listening had considered and heard of Knowing Is Half the Podcast before, but upon seeing me on this show, they said to themselves, no, I'm good.
And that's what we got. That's what we got. Be sure to tune in next Wednesday. We'll be back at our normal time, I think, whatever that is. 9 p.m. Eastern. Sure, we'll go with it. For another episode of the TeamStream. Until then, as our friend Vagon likes to say, stay safe, and if you can't, be careful. We'll be back next week for another episode of What's on Joe Mind. Have a great rest of the week, everybody. And yo, Joe. Now I got to find the right button to hit.
It's gonna be me.
Perfect.
That wasn't the one. I just did that for Ray.
No,
good night, everybody.
Still, I appreciated it.